Hey everyone, it's Tori and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, we are going to be setting up my bullet journal for September 2025. Flipping to my planning page first, this is the color palette and theme I'm going with this month, which I wrote aliens, but it's kind of like a UFOs and planets theme. These are such comfort colors to me and I'm so excited to get into this month's setup, but first let's take a look to see how last month's spreads are going so far. For August, I did a Polaroid theme and I really love how this turned out. It's perfect for summer, and if you missed this plan with me, I will have it linked in the cards for you to check out. My weekly spreads feature some stickers from Hubman and Chub Girl, which was one of my big inspirations for this theme. I do have a discount code with them if you're ever looking for really cute stickers or planner or journal supplies. And speaking of supplies, I'll be using Tombow dual brush pens in a few different colors, washi tape and alphabet stamps from Amazon, and my Sakura Pigma Micron fine liners for outlining and numbering. Everything will be linked down below if I can find it, and without further ado, it's time to get into my cover page for September. I'm starting out with a couple star and moon doodles because I'm doing a space or UFO or alien or planet inspired theme, whatever you want to call it. For those of you who have been watching my channel this year, you'd probably know that I'm recreating a theme I've done in the past each month, whether it was from my own bullet journal or a custom journal I made in the past. And if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you probably know that my boyfriend, well, now fiance, always picks my September theme for his birthday month. And in September 2023, he decided he wanted to design his own stickers using Procreate on my iPad to incorporate into my monthly spreads. This purple alien guy was my favorite, so naturally I added him to the cover page, and I'm actually bringing him back to this cover page, which you'll see on the back of this girl's shirt in a second. I thought that was a fun callback to the theme, and I really like how I'm technically recreating this theme in my own style rather than fully redoing that theme. This cover page is something I pretty much directly copied from this image I found on Pinterest. I only really changed the way the space buns looked and what was on the back of the shirt. I love how it's very line drawing heavy, so I wanted to only add color to the stars and the planets around her, and I only colored in her shirt black with the little purple alien guy. I really love how this cover page turned out. And with my cover page complete, it's time to move over to my monthly dashboard. I do this sort of messy multiple outline boxes a lot in my reading journal, and besides the fact that I just like how it looks, it's also much easier and much faster than using a ruler. In fact, I think I only use a ruler on one page in this whole setup. And as you can probably tell, since I'm posting this on one of the last days of August, I don't know if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday at the point of doing this voiceover. I'm hoping it'll be on Saturday, but I was coming down to the wire with this setup, so I was really just focused on getting this done quickly. As for the reasoning behind my dashboard, this is a place for me to plan out my month a little bit, and I've set up a very similar one to this in August because I ended up really liking that layout and the larger boxes for my lists, specifically for crochet, books I want to read, and a general to-do list. The little rectangle at the bottom left is for a calendar sticker that acts as a month at a glance, and we'll be getting into my full calendar spread on the next page, so let's hop into that now. For my calendar, I went with a large grid layout with my messy multiple outline style like you saw on my dashboard. Each box is 6 dot grid spaces across and 6 spaces down, which gives me just enough room to write events and bills and other notable things going on this month that I will then transfer over into my weekly spreads as I start to make those throughout the month. Speaking of notable things, I am going wedding dress shopping the weekend that you're seeing this with my mom, my future mother-in-law, and my bridesmaids. I'm a little nervous, but definitely more excited than nervous, I think. I'm just hoping I find something affordable, but still pretty, to be honest. Weddings are so expensive, I've come to realize it's very stressful. I'm planning to set up a wedding-related bullet journal with all my wedding planning related stuff, so let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing from me on this channel. Also, if you have any suggestions for videos of people setting up wedding journals or a planner or something, please leave some YouTube channels in the comments so I can check them out. I'd really appreciate that. But anyway, I used my 03 Sakura Pigma Micron pen to go over my penciled grid lines, and I actually only ended up using this micron for basically the whole setup, with the exception of breaking out my 01 nib size, I'm pretty sure that's the one, from time to time for numbering and smaller details. I've been using a variety of nib sizes in my spreads lately, but I really liked the look of all my doodles and outlines being the same thickness this time around. After finishing up with some numbering and washi tape, that is my calendar spread complete, and it's time to get into some trackers, starting with my habit tracker. My habit tracker last month was a 2-page spread, but I'm going back to my old faithful single-page layout this month. Again, I was under a time crunch, so I needed to keep things simple. You can see I'm putting some stamped out letters on a black sticky note that I'll be sticking on the top of my header I originally stamped directly onto the page. It was slightly crooked, so I wanted to fix it, but I ended up not liking my fix more, so I take it off later. So basically what I'm trying to say is you don't have to pay attention to that, it's going away later. I doodled some planets and stars and a moon hanging from some strings down at the bottom, and then I put these sticker habit grids that my sister made for me underneath the highlights. And for the highlights, I'll just write my habit headers off screen, but they don't really change from month to month typically. With my habit tracker complete, it's time to move on to my gratitude log over on the right. For my gratitude log, I'm doing my grid layout that I've done many times in the past, which was a layout that was originally inspired by Tracy Tyler Revel here on YouTube. It only looks a little different because I rounded the corners and did that multiple outlined box technique that I've been doing on my last couple of spreads, just to keep some consistency. My boxes for this spread are 8 dot grid spaces across and 3 down, and I have a total of 31 grid spaces on this page to write one thing I'm grateful for each day this month. And I have this little UFO down at the bottom to add in a little decoration. And then after fixing that habit tracker header, my gratitude spread is complete, and it's time to flip over to the next page for some anxiety related spreads. For my stress and health log, I have a space at the top to write what I'm stressed about each day, whether it's one thing or a couple things. And at the bottom is where I'll write anything going on health-wise that doesn't really happen on a normal day, like if I'm sick, when I get my period, headaches, stomach aches, all that kind of stuff. I just like to have a separate space to write these kind of things when I'm referring to my anxiety tracker, which will be over on the right. My anxiety tracker is actually directly inspired by the one I made back in September of 2023. I traced a big circle in the center of the page with pencil, and then I scattered 30 planets and stars in the general shape of that circle, one for each day of the month. Then I added in some tiny extra sparkles to make it look a little bit more filled in. I had my fiance's Wookiee drawing in the center of my anxiety tracker in 2023, but for this year, I doodled in my own alien in the center of this circle. By the way, if you're wondering what I use my anxiety tracker for, I basically set it up similar to a mood tracker, which is very popular in the bullet journal community. I have a key at the bottom of the page with little faces, and I'll color in one planet or star each day with a color in reference to that key to represent how high my anxiety got each day. So I'll color it in gray for no anxiety, yellow for a little, purple for a lot, and black for a panic attack. After coloring in the key and my alien in the middle of this spread, that is my anxiety tracker complete, and we're heading over to my last spread of the setup, which is my monthly review. My monthly review is a place for me to sum everything up from the month. I'm starting out with some planet and moon doodles at the top on either side of my September header. This section with all the highlights is a place for me to write any highlights from September and also add in a Polaroid picture of a photo I took this month, and I just print that out on my Instax printer from my phone. And then at the bottom left, you'll see a section that will be titled Loving, and that is where I'll write everything I loved this month that aren't already in the categories of watching, reading, or listening over on the right. At the top of the page, you'll see 3 TVs where I'll write a movie I loved, show I watched, and a YouTube channel I've been watching a ton of. In my reading section, I have 3 books where I'll write the titles of each book I finished this month and color in my personal star rating for each book. And then at the bottom right, there will be a couple things shoved together, which is an area titled Listening to write a few songs I've loved this month, as well as something I crocheted and something that I cooked that'll go in those little boxes at the bottom right corner. After adding in some final touches, that is my September bullet journal setup complete, and it's time to get into the final flip through. We are now entering the final flip through portion of today's video, and I want to encourage you all to comment down below what your theme is for September, and also an alien emoji if you made it to the end. I appreciate you all so much for watching this all the way through. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Also, don't forget to check out my bullet journal social medias. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!